Let's get started on the warm-up, which will be sitting on our butt for 4 different movements. I want you to set an interval timer on your smartwatch app. 16 intervals, 30 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. Mariska and Jenny are going to show you all 4 of the movements in a nice and slow pace. I want you guys to actually tag along and already start practicing the movements while we're showing them. Let's have a look at the first one, which is the concept 1 rower. So we're starting in a very long and extended position with the imaginary handle against our chest, and from there we're going to start a rowing motion. Here we go. Now we're not going to do a 5K for time today, but what we are going to do is 30 seconds of finding this rhythm, and it is very weird, but I do want you to have the idea that you're actually sitting on a row. It's a good core exercise, but aside that, it's also a good balance exercise. Hey, let's take a break and let's look at the second movement, which is just roll backwards. Get your shoulders on the floor and start the glute bridge. So we're looking for a nice angle in the knee there, approximately 90 degrees. There's pressure in the heel. We're folding our hips around our belly button and we're trying to squeeze our butt on the way up. And then when we lower, we want to try to maintain tension in the belly when we go down with our butt to the floor. Perfectly executed glute bridges. You're always trying to fight the urge to arch. Okay, let's move on to our third movement, while we're going to start in a hollow body position. So, first, reverse banana, lower back in the floor, arms away, and then we're going to start to make arm circles. We did those in the Superman, we also do them now in the hollow body, which makes it slightly harder. Mariska is scaling this down by pulling in the knees, which is a very good way of making it slightly easier. The goal is very simple, lower back's in the floor, shoulders are off the floor. And you ladies can rest, very good. Now our fourth movement will be a classic tuck hold. So let's have a look at that. If it's very hard for you to get into that, you can always start in a hollow and then pull yourself into tuck. But what we're looking for is shoulder blades off the floor, knees pulled in, arms next to the body, placed forward, and you're just going to maintain this position by actively raising your belly, pushing your lower back in the floor, pulling your shoulder blades off. This is a nice and passive spot to be in for 20 seconds. Okay, we just showed you 4 of the movements that you're going to do in this warm-up. I said how to set your interval timer. It's now time to get started, so you guys get off the couch and join the warm-up with us. We start on the concept 1 rower. In 3, 2, 1, and let's get it. 30 seconds of consecutive rowing on the concept 1 rower. Again, this is a great balance exercise. It feels exactly opposite of the tuck up. That's why it's so good. 15 more seconds, so we're halfway in. And again, this is just a great ab exercise. I think we're hearing the snaps of Jenny's hip at the same meantime. That is all good to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. And then on your back, solid. You guys can start laying on your back. We got 20 seconds of rest. And then we move on to doing the glute bridges. So you're going to place your knee in a 90-degree angle, feet in a hip width stance, heels pressed into the floor. And then from there, we're going to fold our hips around the belly button and then squeeze up by using our butt. And we're going to start in 3, in 2, in 1. So the idea, guys, when we do this is not to aim for a lot of repetitions, but aim for a couple of quality repetitions. I'm always good with you guys holding that top position for a while, okay? Now make sure you keep proper alignment of the pelvis by keeping it pulled forward in this position a bit more, and fight the urge to arch specifically on the way down. Lots of people in that glute bridge point their butt to the floor. You don't want to have that. Okay, we are resting in 3, 2, 1. Let's take a good 20-second break and let your legs go in front of you already. Place them down on the floor long, extend them, and then in 12 seconds we move on to a hollow body, and we're going to add the arm circles. Again, feel free to scale the hollow to a tuck position as long as lower back stays in the floor and shoulder blades off. 3, 2, 1, let's get into the action. So go slow with the arm circles. You're basically challenging the hollow here a bit more, because arms forward is more connected. More of your body close to the middle means easier. The more of your body goes away from the middle, the harder you have to work in the hollow. Again, there's nothing wrong with scaling back, even mid-movement, because the idea is to maintain proper tension there. So we get 5 more seconds, and 3, 2, 1, and rest. And I want to make a sound now, but They're not doing it, but they know this is stuff. This is stuff on the abs, right? So lastly, in the first round, we have the tuck hold for a good 30 seconds. We're gonna try to maintain that. If you need to take short breaks, please do it. But try to get as much work in the 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, tuck hold. Good. So a tuck hold, guys, you pull in the knees, you pull your shoulder blades off the floor. It is that simple to explain and that hard to do and maintain. Now I want you to focus on breathing through while you're doing this. And again, if you feel like it's too hard for you, I want you to place your legs on the floor for just 5 seconds or so and then pick it back up. We got 10 more seconds in the tuck hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Now, this is a long warm up because we just did 1 round with you guys and you need to do 3 more of these on your own. Don't skip in the warm up. You guys keep going and press pause. It's pigeon time! 4 rounds, 2 rounds of leg, 60 seconds of being in the pigeon, 10 seconds of rest in between. I set my smartwatch timer. I need you guys to get off the couch right away and join this one with us. It's very simple. I have Jenny and Mariska already being in the pigeon with left forward and right back. So at home, I'm giving you 5 seconds to get into position. Left forward, right back. Make sure the back knee is behind the hip and the front leg is bending in on the floor. And we're starting the 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go. Some simple pointers, guys. You have 2 different options here. Mariska is sitting nice and upright. And Jenny is relaxed laying forward. They're both different. What I want you to do is do one of the 2 variations in the first round and the other variation in the second round. Make sure to try to keep your hips squared, which means in line with the shoulder and not tilted to the side. Make sure the back foot is properly pressed back and you can play around with how you position the front leg. The less bending of the knee, the harder it is, but it can also become harder on the knee itself. So you can change that angle of the knee a tiny bit to make it feel better on the knees. Three, 2, 1, 10-second transition. So ease out of the stretch and ease into the other side. And we're on. At home as well, 60 seconds on the other side. Either in the relaxed position or the upright position. They're both different. Don't see them as easy and hard, see them as different. Front leg, play around with that. Change the sensation and also change the possible feeling in the knee. And make sure the back knee is pointed away, hips are square with the shoulders. And I will shut up. That's a true pigeon. "20 seconds. Four, 3, 2, 1. Guys, it's time to bring the hype. We did a longer warm-up today, also some longer mobility work in the middle. It is now time to get started on the intense portion. What we're gonna look at first is the 3 movements that we have for you in today's 10-minute MRAP. Jenny, Mariska, they have their set of bottles and they have a bag. At home, grab a set of bottles, grab a bag and play around practicing the movements while we're demoing. The first thing that we're going to do is a double bottle cluster, which is a very fancy word for clean into thruster. And we're gonna work from slightly below the knee as a setup position. From there, we're going to clean and go right overhead from there. You guys can do it. Boom, and overhead. Reach back down, feet come back in. Solid clusters going on. You guys do a couple more reps so that people can see the flow. So it is fully extending. Bring the bottles to the shoulder, put yourself in the squat bottom and press it overhead. We're looking for a full squat and a secured overhead position. Let's rest for a second, ladies. Now, Mariska is going to show you with the bottles what you need to do if you, for example, cannot go overhead. In that case, we only do the hang squat clean. Let's have a look at that. No overhead, it's just a hang squat clean. Simply meaning we ditch the thruster portion to overhead, and we just do the spooling portion and the squatting portion. Good. Now she's going to show you what to do if you cannot go through a squat. You still do the same kind of cluster movement, but you don't catch it in a deep squat. So you go low, you catch, you drive overhead. So let's call this a hang bottle clean and jerk. Wow, perfectly done. Good. Now, let's move on to our second movement, for which you're going to need a bag. Since we're doing a hinge here, a heavy hinge off the floor, the deadlift, if you can load this bag up and the bag doesn't tear apart, keep loading that thing up and make this heavy and challenging. So we're going to do some deadlifts here. We're going to have the bag. Let's grab it. Let's stand up first. And then we move from top down. We're going to sit back, slight knee bend. And from there, squeeze your butt, come back up. Now, while they're going through a couple of reps here, I want you to look for the following. The knees are okay to bend a tiny bit. I don't want the knees to go over the ankle here. I'm not looking for that. Too much usage of the quads for today. I want the hips to shoot back, and on the way up, I want you to squeeze your butt once you pass the knee to focus on extending of the hip, using your butt more than you use your back more. 15 beautiful reps of the deadlift. All right, let's take a break. Now, let's say that you're having a very bad lower back. And because of that very bad lower back, that hinging is going to feel very iffy for you, very hard to do. In that case, you're going to grab the bag, you pull it against your chest nice and high, you're going to get in your squatting stance, and then you're going to simply just squat down and focus on being as upright as you possibly can to get all taxing of the lower back to a minimum. Good injury option there for the hinge. Now, our last movement is going to be with the bag being on the floor, and that is a lateral jump over the bag. So let's place that bag on the floor. Let's both start on the right side of the bag. And what you're going to do is jump over the bag and land on the other side. Very simple. You jump over the bag, you land on the other side. So while they're going, Jenny is doing a 2-foot takeoff, 2-foot landing. Mariska's doing the shuffle jump over the bag with alternating feet here. I call that a skilled option for the day, which is fine. Now, it might also be that you have an injury, and because of that injury, the jumping is a bit too complicated or is painful for you. In that case, I want you to do a good morning into uppercut with the knee, alternating the knees here. Every repetition is where you alternate the knee up. Let's have a look at Mariska. She's going to good morning, come up, bring a knee up. Good morning, come up, bring the other knee up. While she keeps going, this is rep 3, boom, this is rep 4. Boom. Very simple variation to still get some dynamic work in there and not turn this lateral jump into something static. Okay, so we showed you all of the movements. We're very warmed up from today's session. Let's get ready for a 10-minute MRAP with some intense movements for you guys. I'm gonna set my smartwatch timer at 10 minutes. Jenny is ready, Mariska is ready, I'm ready. I'm waiting for you guys to be ready. And then we all start together in 3, in 2, 1, game time! 15 bottle clusters done from the knee. So let's call it a hang double bottle cluster. Every time you reach the overhead position, you count a rep, but do make sure that you go through a full squat every time you go under. If jumping is a big issue for you here, you can also keep your feet in squatting stance throughout the movement. Still do it, but just don't show the jump. That is all fine by me. 15 reps it is in the 10-minute MRAP with the other work. It's going to give you a good lag burn, but it's also going to bring up your heart rate significantly. And why is that? Because it is such a big range of motion. And the more range of motion we do, and if we can do it fast, the harder the heart rate goes up. So they are already working for more than 40 seconds consecutively. That means that the repetition takes pretty long, so you won't get a lot of rounds in this workout, but you do get a lot of work in this workout. Upon completion of the last cluster, you put the bottles down, you grab your bag, and you start chipping away in the deadlifts. Where you can say, I need to touch the floor, you can also say anywhere below the knee is a good spot to start from. From there, I just want to focus on getting my glutes to work and fire properly to get myself back up into extension. On the way down, really aim for feeling your hamstrings when you go lower. There you go. Then you move right into your jumps laterally over the back, and you do that for 15 reps in a row, or you make it a shuffle step for 15. And we just keep moving along. Heart rate's going up nice and high. We're already a minute and a half in. They'll probably get close to the 2-minute time frame when they get back to the bottles. Here we go. Alright, so that is about a minute and a half to 2 minutes around. That is the beginning of the workout. It'll get into the 2-minute time frame, so expect around 5 rounds in total for this one. Continue and press pause.